It's a pleasure to have you this evening once again on the link. And this week we're discussing information you can use in the area of banking. We're continuing with our series, What Your Banker Will Not Tell You. And tonight we're considering something called an overdraft. And as usual, my guest to help us with these banking issues and questions is Mr. Daniel Babonereirwe, who is a consultant now in banking after 20 years of practice. Daniel, welcome.
Thank you, Sam, and good evening, viewers. It's always a pleasure.
All right. I have had this animal called overdraft. I hear it. I've never, I don't know whether I qualify to use it anyway, but you're going to tell us tonight. First of all, let's deal with the basics. What's an overdraft?
Thank you, Samuel. And overdraft, actually some of them confuse it with bank draft, but we shall come back to that. An overdraft, like we have been giving information you can use and which can help you when you are relating with banks and any other financial institutions. It's along also in a range of credit services banks normally provide for its clients. You can arrange them. What we normally go asking to the bank are loans, but there is a long range of products that can be given. Even within those products, you can even subdivide. But you could arrange them in loans, overdrafts, letters of credit, guarantees, letters of comfort. All those are credit products.
Okay.
But most of us just go for asking for loans, and in most cases, someone gives you what you have asked for. But an overdraft is comes from the word overdrawing, or going beyond what you have in the bank.
Okay.
So you have 10 million in the bank, but you want 15 million. It means if you arrange with the bank, they can allow you to overdraw up to 15 million or 20 million, depending on your need. And it's normally used by business people, but sometimes also in Uganda, even salaried people can also have overdrafts in banks. Okay. But mostly in Uganda, it's used more by businessmen or businesswomen.
Can anyone, and I'm saying businesswomen, you're saying anyone within the business community, can anyone get an overdraft? What will the bank consider about me to allow me to use an overdraft? Basically,
what the bank would consider is what they would have considered if you are taking any other credit facility, because you would be taking their money. So it's the same. Actually, most people think it's an easy loan. They term overdraft as an easy loan, but actually overdraft, looking at it from the bank side, is actually harder to monitor and harder to assess than a loan. Yes, but this one they assess mostly according to how your turnover or your bank balances, how they fluctuate, and your need, your business need. So, but as far as credit risk is concerned, it's more or less the same as any other credit facility.
Okay. I'm thinking in terms of time. A loan might be, say, okay, we're giving you short term. Short term could be at least 1 year perhaps. Stand to be corrected. How do overdrafts work in terms of time?
Yeah, overdrafts normally they are short term. Okay. Because these are a trading loan. It's like a trading loan. It's for working capital, not for capital investment. So you're not going to use an overdraft to buy a building. But if you are going to shop for your shop on a shopping, you are not going to go to Dubai and use only your 50 million which you have on the account. Yet the bank would allow you another 50, and you minimize on transport and the time. You come and sell and give the bank. Okay. So that's why it's there. It's a business exigency need. And you don't take it as if you stay with it as a loan. You are just supposed to use it as and when you need it. So what the bank does, it just puts a limit. It says some you cannot overdraw beyond, say, 50 million, or beyond 10 million, according to your abilities. So you may withdraw and overdraw up to that limit. Yes.
Okay. What's the cost of the overdraft to me?
The cost of the overdraft is the same as in the loans. So the interest rate.
So Dan, if I have 10 million and I can draw until 20 million, more than 50%. We said the interest, loan interest in the banks now will be around 22%. Let me just be conservative, 22%. Would they charge me 22% on overdraft today, let me say?
Now, the calculation is the same, but what the difference is that the balances,
yes,
or the loan balances of the principal of the money you have borrowed from the bank. I'm trying not to use technical words. Of the money you have borrowed from the bank or the money you have overdrawn, the interest is calculated per day.
Oh.
But still on an annual basis.
Okay.
Same with the other loan. So the advantage in it is actually you can pay zero to the bank, and that's one thing the bank cannot tell you. You may
how do you mean?
And you don't pay any interest to the bank.
How do you mean?
If I have issued a check, mostly if you issue a check early morning,
yes,
and you know you gather up also people who owe you money, you go and fetch and collect that money and redeposit it. I can overdraw in the morning, but by evening, if I'm back into credit, the bank will not charge me.
Yeah.
Because it will count the end of the balance. But the bank is not in the business of going to tell you that.
Yes.
It's I mean it's they believe you should know, because you are charged on the principal balance you have taken from them by end of day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Okay. We touched this a little bit. Who can use this overdraft? And this question means not anyone. Even if I am in the good books with the bank, when would I use the overdraft? When is it critically important so it doesn't become a liability actually?
In layman's terms, we would consider an overdraft loan or an overdraft credit facility as a spare tire on your car.
Okay.
Or a Gear 4. That is the time you need an extra push, or that is the time you have gotten something you need to pay on and you had not planned for it as it is. So if I'm looking at it two ways, for a business person, when you want to go and shop, that's when you need all the money in the world you have.
Yeah, yes.
But you may not have sold enough, or the people who owe you money, who have your money, may not have paid you back that money. So you have a liquidity shortage. But the money is there in your business. So you need this cash to go and shop. So you are not going to be hiring a truck to go to the factory to bring things twice. You go once, shop, as the shop is open selling and taking back to the bank. So the trick is you should stay with that money as briefly as possible. Yes. So your interest will be as low as possible. So if possible, you may even have a limit and you don't use it. It's there, it's given, but you don't have to overdraw. It's like a spare tire, as we said. Yeah. You don't have to put on a spare tire when your other tire is still okay.
It's repairable, yes.
Yes. So you use it only when you need it. Okay. Or a four-wheel drive. You don't have to keep on the four-wheel drive for time if it's not designed so. So the longer you use that money, or the more you stay with it, the higher it will cost you.
Okay.
Of course, within the limit of the higher cost it will have been.
Does an overdraft reach 1 year?
Yeah.
Time frame?
It can actually even be 2 years.
Hey.
But in most cases, because it's a working capital, it's normally reviewed at 6 months. Okay. 6 months there is a review to see if you are. Remember, the loan is monthly. You can see monthly if someone is paying amortization. Or not paying. But the overdraft, they give it to you, the limit, and it's sometimes very difficult for the banks to monitor. And probably that's why they don't so much push for it, mostly on salary earners. Because it's not easy to monitor. So you have to go in and tabulate and see if this person is still within the limits on the conditions you gave them. You
use salary earners, and some of the people who watch us are salary earners, many of them.
Yes.
How does an overdraft work for me? When can it work for me with my salary?
Now, it has to match with your income.
True.
Just like also in the business person, with the business person.
I'm earning $1 million every month.
If my loan is, my salary is 1 million, it would be prudent to borrow about a limit of maybe a third of that.
Okay.
A third, such that, because the logic is, the overdraft, unlike the loan, the bank will need it back quickly. At a go, one day. When it expires in those 6 months or so, it will need it back. And the other challenge it could have is that you may get used to it and it feels like it's your money because you don't have an installment. So by the time it expires, you find you are at the limit and you develop what they call a hardcore.
So when I earn 1 million, you said a third is 300,000.
300,000.
Okay.
There, yes.
I can draw up to 300,000.
That's prudent. I mean, depending between you and the bank and how you earn, that's the prudent one, because you don't want to go and borrow 1 million. Now you assume you are not going to be needing any other expenses around. So when the salary comes, and you'll find viewers as a salary earner, they will give you a limit. But I mean, if you develop what we call a hardcore, you find all this money has been spent out. So when it comes back, it's only to fill back what was the gap you have created. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I think we are sort of covered. We have dealt with when can I use it. Lastly, on the salary earner, school fees.
You know, Overdraft, you don't look at it only in terms of only the expenses as in consuming. You could be constructing a house, and you need that extra. Or
you have an emergency.
Yes, an emergency. But when we talked about the fixed deposit, we talked about the precautionary motive of holding now. You normally have those times when it comes in straight. It could be school fees. That's one of them. Yeah. It could be holiday time. You may need it because you are traveling abroad and you don't know what it will be. So you may need at one point to overdraw.
Or a funeral.
Or a funeral or anything.
Okay.
Yes. But looking forward, you may need to put to have an extra gear where you don't.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dan, for that. I have heard of the animal, but I had never understood what it is. Now I know.
Yes.
Viewers, overdrafts are not complicated. And if you think Dan has taken us very fast, this program will be posted as a recording on YouTube, www.youtube.com/NTV Uganda. Click videos, enter the search word NTV, the link. You will find this conversation and you can listen to it if you like in slow motion so that you get everything that he has said. We hope we added value to you in this conversation. That was the link. Thank you for joining us tonight.